Hey guys, Andrew Davidson here, and welcome back to another As Per My Ability video. If you like what we do here at As Per My Ability, if you like our videos, if you like our content, if you like board games in general, please comment, like, subscribe, do all the fun YouTube stuff. Make sure you hit the bell so you get notifications when we do post new videos. We appreciate everything that you guys do to help our channel grow. Today's video is going to be short. I'm going to be doing a sort of juxtaposition between two storytelling, I wouldn't say games, I'm going to say experiences. And I'm going to talk about the pros and cons between the two of them. So let's roll the sweet intro and then let's talk about those games. I'll see you on the other side. Welcome back, everybody. The games that I'm going to be talking about today, and I'm saying that loosely, games, as I said at the top of the show, these are what I would really consider experiences more than games, like capital G games. So the first one is called Weave, which I've talked about on this channel a long time back. And the second game is called Alice is Missing, which I also have done a video on. Two of them, how are they different? How are they the same? What's better? Which one should you invest your time in? So let's start with Weave. Weave is a storytelling game where you have one person, like let's say myself, who is the storyteller, who is your DM, and they make up the story, they play all the non-playable characters, they do all of the dialogue, they kind of have an idea of where the story's going. This game is broken up into episodes, so you're supposed to play, they tell you to play for about 60 minutes and then kind of leave on a cliffhanger, and players can determine how many episodes they want their story to be. Unlike some D&D campaigns that got started in 1982 and they're still playing the same regash dang D&D campaign, this is not like this. This is more akin to a TV show where you get to set how many episodes do you want in your season of Weave. You get to create your own characters on an app. The app is connected to the storyteller and everyone else, so the storyteller can go in and assign hit points to your app or look at your character. Everything is done on your phone, where if you want to do a skill check, there's some dice rolling. You would look on your phone at your character sheet and you would roll appropriately, and there are skill checks, so there's dice in Weave. So there's some RNG aspect to it, but that is essentially a really condensed version of how Weave works. I recently, back in October, went through a 12-hour Weave session, and it was quite the experience, let's say that. So the next game is, like I said, Alice is Missing. Now, Alice is Missing, there is not necessarily a storyteller per se. Everyone is getting a role card to be, or I should say a character card, and one person is going to play Charlie Barnes. Charlie Barnes is essentially a character in the story, but Charlie is also the rules kind of moderator, and so if things start to go off track or whatever, but for the most part, for all intents and purposes, there is no real established dungeon master or game master or narrator. Charlie Barnes is essentially a character in the story that kind of knows what's up. So the story of Alice is Missing is Alice has gone missing. Alice is a high school girl. She is Alice Briarwood. She lives in a town called Sleepy Falls, and she has not been seen since Wednesday, and it is now Saturday. All of the players take on roles of friends of Alice, so they're either the ex-boyfriend, the secret lover, the older brother. There's different characters that they can play that are connected to Alice. Now, how Alice works is quite ingenious. Where Weave was using the phone to replace the character sheet, essentially, Alice is Missing is using the phone to replace all of the communication, because Alice is Missing is a silent role-playing game. When the game begins, which will take 90 minutes, there is a counter that you can load up on YouTube or on your phone, a timer, I should say. I said counter. There is a timer that you load up, and you'll hit it, it plays some music, and it gives you the timer, and everyone plays all the communication on their phone. So that means there's no talking, there's no signaling to other people. In fact, the game that I just recently played, like last weekend, we all split up. Some of us went to another room. One person stayed kind of close to me and sat over here. I sat at this table. And you all split up because you're going to be playing on your phones. And so you create a group chat and you change your names to your character names. And at certain points, the cards will, there's basically plot cards, story cards. And at certain parts during the timer, you flip those over and that kind of propels the story. So that way it's not just 90 minutes of like pure 100% role playing. Like, Jesus, do we have to figure out the entire story of what happened to Alice? No, you don't. Because every 10 minutes, some card gets flipped and something happens, and a character learns something, and then they kind of present that into the chat, and Charlie Barnes can kind of offer other outside things such as news reports or radio reports and things like that. At the end of the timer, by the time you get to the last card, you will find out what happens to Alice. Alice is Missing. I have to say this because this is a family-friendly show. This is not a family-friendly game. This is not. Weave is a family-friendly game, just depending on what kind of story you want to tell. And there are different worlds you can play in, like preset worlds within the app. And it's family-friendly. It's as family-friendly as you want it to be, or not want it to be. Alice is Missing is not. When a teenage girl goes missing, nothing good could ever come from it. So the ending of your stories will change from game to game. I'm going to tell you the end of our story. That does not mean that it is the end of your story. I'm not spoiling anything other than just the game that I had recently. The Alice in our game was a victim of human/sex trafficking that was run by a guy named CJ Wallace. He's kind of the local town Silent Falls like creeper who is involved in sex trafficking. He doesn't do it himself though. He has a female at the high school that lures kids, teenagers, in order to lure them to be alone, and then Alice gets sex trafficked. We found, and when I say we, I'm just saying character found Alice, I believe, in a cave, and she was unconscious with this other teenage girl who, at the time, was an ally in our story until, hey-oh, she's working for the bad guys, and one of our players got taken as well. So not only did we lose Alice, but we lost one of our player characters, and the game ended on that note. The game ended that way. So, keeping the video short, when we talk about these two games, I am going to have to go with Alice is Missing as a really great recommendation. Now, I have a very hard time recommending a game that talks about drugs, teenage frivolity, sex trafficking, incest, suicide, homicide. Like, bad things happen in this game. So it's really hard, since I'm a family-friendly show, to really recommend Alice is Missing. So I'm not going to recommend Alice is Missing. But these are two unique narrative role-playing games that you can make up on your own. Again, Weave has a narrator, so they have someone who totally steps out of the game, and everyone plays and they use their character sheet on their phone. Alice is Missing does not have a narrator per se. Charlie Barnes is someone within the world that will jump in and out and offer his opinions on what's being said in the chat. You just communicate all on your phone. So these are the two games. I cannot really recommend one more than the other, but these are two games I recommend that you just maybe buy both of them and see for yourself. Thanks for joining me. It's great to see you guys every single time. And as always, I will see you at the next video.